Now that we have our gumball machine put together and we've learned about some of the materials in the class, we are going to add the finishing touches. So you're going to need your art stick bin. Remember, you're opening it up like this. You're tucking this underneath. You're putting this in the middle of the table so that you can share with other students. So the first thing you're going to do is you're going to add a horizon line. A horizon line separates the sky from the earth. So I'm going to just choose a color, and I'm choosing red. And I don't want to put my horizon line down here. If I put my horizon line down here, it's going to look like my gumball machine is floating. So I want to make my horizon line up, looking like it's behind. So I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to add a line over here. So there's my horizon line, and I'm going to kind of draw here, and then I'm going to lift up my art stick, and I'm going to kind of pretend draw, because I don't want my other horizon line being up here, because that wouldn't look right. So I want to make sure that this is directly across from one another, and then I'm going to add another line on this side. The next thing I want to add is, if you remember when we looked at kind of the Wayne Thiebaud artwork that he did, there was something called halation or halation on there. And that is kind of like this, kind of a surrounding your item, kind of like a bubble, if you will, that kind of goes around. And you can choose any colors you want, and you can use a couple different colors. Now notice I am not coloring on the gumball machine, I'm just coloring around the gumball machine. So I'm going to go ahead and I'm just going to add some halation. And I'm going to choose some colors that I think might look well together and go well together. So I've got some green, I have some pink, maybe I might do a little bit of purple. So do you see how, and notice that I'm not necessarily adding it all the way around, that I'm kind of skipping some spaces, and that's okay too. Though I probably wouldn't want to make this mistake. I didn't want to go up out there. The one thing that's nice about the art sticks too is that if you make a mistake, just like colored pencil, you can try and erase. It won't erase all the way, but it'll erase a little bit, and maybe I can go back and kind of try and fix that part. There we go. That's a little better. And I don't know if yellow will show up. Will yellow? Oh yeah, yellow shows up. So I'm using a couple different colors, and again, notice some colors I used all the way around, and others I'm just using kind of smaller amounts. So my halation is now done. The next step is to create a fun background design on top and a table design. So I want to create something that is interesting. So maybe my table design is done by, let me think here. Maybe my table design is just done with a bunch of just different swirls. And again, I could use whatever pattern and design that I want to think about. Up to you. But notice that I'm only doing swirls. I'm keeping it consistent and keeping it the same. Now, does this mean I only need to use one color? No, so if I wanted to go back in and I wanted to add a pink with this, I could do pink swirls on the bottom as well. Now I have to think about, what do I want to do on the top? Well, you know what? It's getting kind of chilly outside right now, and I know that there's a possibility of some snow in the air coming into Minnesota. So I think I might use white, and I was just thinking, what if I did, well, that doesn't really show up though, does it? I was thinking maybe some little snowflakes, but that's not really standing out. So maybe white's not my choice. Now, if you had a dark background, if I had like a dark blue or I had black background, that white would show up. But because I have a lighter color, the white's not really standing out. So maybe I'll do something else. So maybe I have some fall leaves, because it is fall outside. So maybe I take the red and maybe I make some leaves that are kind of maybe falling from the trees. And maybe my leaves, and I could make different shapes. And maybe some of my leaves are falling. So you kind of decide what you want to do in your background. I think you can probably come up with a more interesting than this. This is not looking very creative, is it? But you get the idea. And so you're going to go ahead, and I could add a little bit of orange to my fall leaf and a little bit of yellow. So I'm blending those warm colors together. And if I wanted to add anything else in here, whatever you choose to do, so I might just do all fall leaves. And I might go back, because I'm not crazy about this, maybe I'm going back and I'm going to create, there we go, if I make these a little bit better. Oh, well, that's not good. My phone's going off. But maybe I make those into my fall leaves. So I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to finish that and add some more fall colors. And I think I'm going to do fall leaves falling all over in my background. So you decide what you're going to do. The other thing you can do, which I almost forgot about, you can go in and you could add a pattern or design in the top of your cap of your gumball machine. And you could also go in and you could add, and I think I'm going to get a white, I'm going to get a white, will this work? Maybe there's like the little hole that you put the coin into, right? And then you have that area, you've got that little knob on your gumball machine that you have to twist to get the gumball out. And then you also have, this space here where maybe the gumball actually comes out. And if you have a gumball left over, or you could actually just draw it in. You could draw it in and maybe you're designing another gumball. Maybe the gumball is sitting down at the bottom and it has come out of the gumball machine and it's waiting for you to grab the gumball. Look at that. So there's where the gumball comes out of. Okay, so your next step, your last step, is going to be to finish your background and then turn this in for a grade. Again, when you're done with your materials, you need to make sure they're all put away, the cover is on, and that this is put back in storage properly. Everybody has a job at your table to do, so make sure you're doing your job. If we don't finish this today, that's okay. We are going to continue next class. All right? Have fun, and I want to see some really creative patterns and designs, and I want to see some beautiful halation and a horizon line on your work.